Hello and welcome back to Red, White, and Weekly. It is the second week of July of 1775. War has begun in Massachusetts, but remarkably, a final appeal for peace is unfolding. This week, we explore the Olive Branch petition. We will hear from soldiers out in the field, consider a loyalist's warning, and check in on the ever enigmatic Benjamin Franklin. At Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the Second Continental Congress debates whether to send one last appeal to King George III. The Olive Branch petition was the colony's final attempt to avoid war with Britain. It was approved by Congress on July 8th of 1775, and it declared loyalty to King George III while asking him to stop Parliament's harsh policies. The colonists hoped the king would intervene and restore peace before all-out war erupted in the colonies, yet still defend their rights. At Independence Hall, delegates are debating. Thomas Jefferson writes up the draft. John Dickinson revises that draft to have it sound loyal and not rebellious. And finally, on July 8th, Congress approved and dispatched it to England. It was a plea for peace, insisting loyalty to King George, but demanding repeal of the intolerable acts. The intolerable acts, sometimes referred to as the insufferable or coercive acts, were a series of 5 punitive laws passed by the British Parliament after the Boston Tea Party had taken place. Now, while the ink is drying on the Olive Branch petition in Philly, General George Washington is training troops in Cambridge, and the scent of gunpowder still hangs thick in the air from Bunker Hill, and we talked about that several weeks ago. Now, from camp, a Connecticut soldier writes on July 9th of 75, quote, "We drill under General Washington's eye. There is discipline now. He walks the line like a man who has seen war. We are hopeful, but no fools. If the king turns his back on this petition, we must be ready to stand as a nation," end quote. Another writes to his wife, "The men speak of peace, but prepare for battle. We have dug in deep here at Cambridge. The generals say the British may strike again. I think of you daily, and I pray this petition brings rest, but I fear it won't." The soldiers speak not of hatred for Britain, but a quiet resolve that freedom may cost them everything. In New York, a loyalist merchant writes, quote, "They claim loyalty, but they arm against the crown. This olive branch is no more than a shield for sedition and rebellion. I hope the king sees through it," end quote. To many loyalists, the petition is too little too late, or worse, it is a deception. They believe breaking away from Britain would lead to chaos, lost commerce, and more bloodshed. Now, what's going on with one of our forefathers? Well, let's talk about the enigmatic, and some people's favorite, Ben Franklin. While Congress sends the Olive Branch petition across the pond, their appeal to the king, Ben Franklin is still in London. For over a decade, he has served as a diplomatic agent, urging Parliament to repeal unjust taxes like the Stamp Act, which was under the Townshend Acts. However, by July of 75, Franklin has been shut out of most British political circles. Earlier that year, Franklin endured a stunning public humiliation before the Privy Council at Whitehall. He had leaked private letters from then Massachusetts Governor Thomas Hutchinson, which revealed plans by Hutchinson to restrict colonial liberties of all things. Hutchinson's plan had caused outrage in America, of course it would. However, in Britain, it made Franklin the scapegoat, unfortunately. At the hearing, Solicitor General Alexander Wedderburn launched a vicious 45-minute attack. He called Franklin a thief, a traitor. He accused him of acting in bad faith against the crown. Franklin stoically stood in silence, enduring the insults without protest. In that room filled with British elites, he realized the crown no longer sought peace or compromise. And after that day, Franklin was done trying to patch the empire back together. Though still in London, by July of 75, he was quietly planning his exit and preparing to return home to the colonies. His trust in reconciliation was completely broken. Now what comes next? Well, the petition reaches England a little too late, and King George not only refuses to read the olive branch petition, he refuses to even look at it or consider it. Instead, and to leaders like John Adams, this petition seems like a delay tactic. But in this week of July of 75, it still carried hope, flickering like a candle in the approaching winds and the storm of war. I'm Kelly Haven. Thank you for joining me once again on Red, White, and Weekly. Now, next week, volunteer enlistments are going up, and the march to independence is quickly accelerating. We, of course, will follow the war's advance, the new political maneuverings in the colonies, and the people's perspective, those caught between loyalty and liberty. Until then, God bless you and the United States of America. See you next week.